For this class, we will use 2 blocks and begin laying on your back with knees bent, maybe heels separated so knees can rest together. Close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Big inhales through your nose and exhales out your mouth. And then on your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead and stretch your feet forward for a big full body stretch, and whatever kind of movements feel good here. You can point and flex through your feet, shift your hips or your rib cage side to side. Take one more big inhale, lengthening, then exhale, hug your knees in toward your chest. Maybe you start to rock your knees from side to side a little. Maybe you'd like to separate your knees, hug them in a little bit closer. You could still be swaying, or you could find some more stillness. Bring your knees back together and then extend your feet up toward the ceiling. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Your legs can move around however they want, maybe some circles with your feet. You could bend and straighten at your knees. You could hug your legs in and then let them float further away. Run hands along hamstrings. Maybe you hold in one leg at a time. Maybe feet want to come apart from each other before going back together. Wherever your legs want to go, they are extending upward for another deep breath. And then you can bend your knees. Let your knees go forward just a little. You'll take an inhale with your knees at top, and then exhale, lower your knees to one side. Inhale brings your knees back to center. And then exhale to the other side, moving with your own breath. And you can stay with knees bent the whole time, or whenever you lower to the side, you could extend your top heel, your top foot out to the side, and then bend your knee as it comes back to center. Moving with your own breath. And go one more time on each side. Come back to center and hug your knees in again. And inhale, extend both of your feet upward, rounding your spine to tuck your tailbone. Start to extend feet forward, pressing the middle of your back into the floor. Maybe you'd like to lift head and shoulders, pull your fingertips forward for a low boat, low Navasana. Keep using your breath, breathing fully, big inhales through your nose and strong exhales out your nose or your mouth. And then you can bring your knees in towards your chest, rest your head down, take a big inhale and exhale out your mouth. And one more time, extend feet upward. Inhale, exhale, you lower them forward, and then lift head and shoulders, pull fingertips forward. A nice space in between your chin and your chest, pulling chin up toward the ceiling, breathing fully. One more inhale, and exhale, hug your knees in. Take a deep breath. And move your knees forward so that you can press your hands firmly into the tops of your thighs. Pushing your knees into your hands, take a big inhale. And then exhale, extend your right leg forward. Inhale brings your right leg about halfway up, and then exhale, lower back down to hover. Inhale, press your knee back into your hand, then exhale, extend your other leg. Inhale, you lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, knee to hand, and alternating sides, moving with your own breath. Inhale, knee to hand. Exhale, extend left leg. Inhale, you lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, knee to hand. One more time on each side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Press both of your hands into both knees. Press as hard as you'd like for another deep breath. And then you can bring your feet down to the floor when you've had enough. Bring the soles of your feet together, maybe knees resting out to each side for a couple of deep breaths. You could take blocks underneath your knees here, or maybe you'd rather rest in some other position. If you chose this option, bring your knees back together. Maybe you bring them in and you can rock your body forward and come up onto your hands and knees in a tabletop position. Knees right underneath hips, wrists right underneath shoulders. We'll move with the breath a few times. Inhale, brings your belly toward the floor, point chin and tailbone up, and then exhale, round your spine, tuck your tailbone and chin. Inhale, pulls your belly low, opening through the front of your body. And exhale to round, shoulder blades parting as you push the mat away. Move with your own breath. And if there's any other shapes that your body wants to make, like side to side or rounding of your rib cage, feel free to explore here. Maybe eyes closed if that feels comfortable, to drop you deeper into your body and out of your mind, out of your surroundings. Feel into whatever your body wants right now. And then we'll meet together with a neutral spine and flat back. Fingers spread and pointed out. Tiny bend in your elbows, pointing them toward your knees. And then lift your knees just an inch or two up off the ground to hover and find your breath. Big inhales through your nose. Strong exhales out your nose or your mouth. Take one more big inhale, hovering. And then exhale, you can lower your knees. Maybe you want to bring your hips back to come into a child's pose for a couple breaths. And then start to make your way back up into your tabletop position. Again, little bend in your elbows, pointing them towards your knees, so eyes of the elbows point forward. Hover your knees and find your breath. This time you'll shift your weight forward and pull your feet forward as if you're trying to scrunch your mat up towards your hands. Breathing deeply. And then shift your weight back, like you're trying to push your feet and hands away from each other and stretch your mat out. Hold your knees hovering for one more breath. And then you can lower. Come back into your child's pose or a seated position. Maybe you'd like to find some circles with your fists in the air or any other kind of thing to help your wrists feel happy. You could press the tops of your hands down, the palms of your hands down, fingers pointed in every direction. Perhaps you'd like to let your hands rest for a deep breath before coming back up onto your hands and knees. Pulling belly toward the floor to find a forward tilt of your pelvis, and then with bent knees, lift your hips for your first downward facing dog. And knees can stay as bent as they need to be in order for you to have a long spine and maintain that forward tilt of your pelvis. You can gently start to invite your heels down and shift around, maybe pedaling out through your feet, maybe make some circles with the crown of your head. And finding some stillness, still breathing deeply. And we'll do some chaturanga push-ups. With your next inhale, bring your shoulders forward over your wrists for a plank. One more inhale to bring your shoulders a little bit more forward, then exhale for your first chaturanga, maybe on your knees. Inhale back up into a plank, and then exhale to a downward facing dog. Moving with your breath, you inhale, bring shoulders forward over your wrists. Exhale, lower for your chaturanga. Inhale back up to your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time, inhale, come forward. Exhale, lower. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing. We'll move through our first vinyasa backwards. So inhale your shoulders forward to a plank and then exhale to an upward facing dog. You can stay here for a moment, pushing your shoulders away from your ears, maybe twisting slightly, holding it for another inhale, and then make your way into a chaturanga and then a downward facing dog. Begin to walk your feet forward towards your hands. You'll take an inhale and halfway lift up through your chest, pulling your heart forward. Then exhale, deep bend in your knees, rest your belly on your legs, let everything hang forward. Maybe you'd like to grab opposite elbows and sway side to side. Hands could really go wherever they want for another deep breath, shoulders and head heavy. And an inhale, halfway lift, pull your heart forward. Exhale, bend your knees in forward fold, tuck your chin. Knees stay bent to inhale, come all the way up to standing, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to your sides or your heart center, Samastitihi. Inhale brings your arms up. Exhale, forward fold, leading with your chest. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into a plank. You'll hold it for the inhale, then exhale to your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Big inhale through your nose and exhale out your mouth. Keep breathing deeply, lifting up through the bottoms of your sit bones, open chest and shoulders. On your next inhale, bring your feet forward and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, palms touch overhead. Exhale, Samastitihi. Again, you inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back into a plank, hold it for the inhale. Exhale to your variation of a chaturanga. Moving with your own breath, you inhale upward facing, exhale downward facing, and remember to please skip every vinyasa that you don't want to do. There's several places for vinyasas here. It's up to you to choose which ones are going to be beneficial for you and which ones are going to be beneficial for you to skip. So bring your feet forward. If you're hopping forward, try to land silently. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale to standing, palms touch overhead. Exhale, hands to your side, Samastitihi. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to plank. Hold it for the inhale, then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha, upward facing. Exhale, Adho Mukha, downward facing dog. Find your breath. On your next inhale, you can walk, step, or hop your feet forward and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up to standing, palms touch overhead. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, lower your hips for an Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to plank. Move through a vinyasa if you'd like to. From downward facing dog, inhale your right foot up toward the ceiling. Exhale, bring your knee to your elbow. Inhale, extend, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to your other elbow. Inhale, extend. And exhale, step all the way forward, lower your left knee. Bring your hands to your hips to pull right hip back, left hip forward. Tuck your tailbone under to feel it in the front side of your left hip and quad. With a tucked tailbone, you can gently invite your hips forward. Keep breathing fully. Big inhale. Exhale, bring your hips back and forward fold. This is a Great place to have 2 blocks underneath each hand, pulling your toes towards your shin. You'll inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, you can bend your knee to pull your chest a little bit more forward, and then pull your hip back as you forward fold on the exhale. This time, inhale, lengthen through your chest and see if you can lighten or lift your heel, and then exhale, forward fold. Again, you inhale, lengthen. Even if your heel doesn't want to come off the ground, you just want that activation in your quad to be there. One more time, inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. On your next inhale, bring your hips forward to a lunge. Again, you can heel toe your right foot out to the side. Take your hands to the inside of your foot. Bend your back knee. Maybe you'd like to sway your foot from side to side a couple times. And then you can lower your back foot, lift your back knee for a lizard lunge. Pull your right hip back, chest forward. Maybe you'd like to point your right toes and knee out to the side. You can lengthen through your chest again and then look over your right shoulder. Maybe lift your hips a little bit higher. And then come back to center. Maybe you look over your left shoulder, lift hips a little higher. Come back to center, point your toes back forward. You can take your hand toward the outside of your foot. And then come up into a high lunge. You can take your time getting there. Maybe hands to your hips to pull right hip back, left hip forward. You could bend your back knee a little bit to tuck your tailbone, no strain at all in your low back. Maybe trying to make right thigh parallel with the floor. Breathing deeply. On your next inhale, bend your front knee a little bit more, then exhale, hands to your mat. Inhale, step back into a plank. You can chaturanga if you want to, downward facing dog if you'd rather skip it. And then inhale, left leg up. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale to your other elbow. Inhale, extend. And exhale, step all the way forward, lower your right knee for your low lunge. Hips square to the front of the mat, front of your room, pulling left hip back, tucking tailbone, lifting up through your chest, rolling shoulders back and down. Breathing fully. One more inhale, maybe sink a little bit more forward, and then exhale, hips back and forward fold, pulling your toes towards your shin. 2 times, you inhale, lengthen, and exhale, forward fold, keeping your foot on the ground the whole time for these first 2. And then 3 more, you inhale, lengthen, maybe heel wants to come up, maybe not, and you exhale, release and fold. Inhale, lengthen, lighten your heel or lift, exhale, release. One more time. And then come back forward to your low lunge. You can take your foot out to the side a little, bend your back knee, sway your foot from side to side. And when you're ready, you can lift your back knee to come up into your lizard lunge. Pull your left hip back. Pull your chest forward. Maybe point your left toes and knee out to the side. Take another inhale, lengthening through your chest. Then exhale, look over your left shoulder. Maybe lift hips a little bit higher. Then you can look back forward, inhale, exhale over your right shoulder, inhale, exhale, point your toes back forward, heel toe your foot back underneath your chest, come up into your high lunge, hands to your hips to check your pelvis and your low back. Happy front knee, left knee is open to the left, not caving in towards the center line of your body. One more inhale, you can sink deeper, then exhale, hands to your mat, chaturanga if you want to. Big inhale through your nose and exhale out your mouth. When you're ready, use an inhale to bring your feet to the top of your mat and halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, tuck your chin. Inhale, lower your hips for an Utkatasana chair pose. And exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, lower your hips. Exhale, fold, chin to chest. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, option to Chaturanga. Moving with your own breath. From downward facing, inhale your right foot up. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, step all the way forward. Inhale all the way up into your high lunge. You can hold it for the exhale. On your next inhale, lower your back knee to hover over the ground. Then exhale your hands to your hips and hinge forward, straight body from your head to your heel. Inhale, you lower your back knee. Exhale, hinge forward. One more time, inhale, lower. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, come up and straighten your front leg. Then exhale, pull your right hip back as you lengthen your chest forward, maybe grabbing onto your blocks for a really long pyramid pose. Pulling your toes towards your shin, bending your front knee as much as you need to lengthen through your chest. For one more inhale, then maybe exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Then exhale, you can bend your front knee, hands to your mat. Chaturanga if you'd like to. From downward facing, inhale your left foot up. Exhale your knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, step all the way forward. Inhale, arms come up into your lunge. And then next inhale, lower your back knee to hover. Exhale, hinge forward, straight body. Inhale, you lower. Exhale, hinge. Keeping a deep bend in the left knee the whole time. Next inhale, sweep arms up overhead, straighten your front leg, then hinge forward at your hips, finding your long pyramid pose on this side. Pulling left hip back, left toes to shin. Left knee is bent as it needs to be lengthening through your chest. Breathing fully. On your next inhale, you can come back forward, then exhale, step back. Chaturanga if you'd like. In your downward facing dog, take a big inhale through your nose and clearing exhale out your mouth. And you can lower your knees and your hips to come into a child's pose or a seated position for a couple of deep breaths. And when you're ready, make your way back up into a downward facing dog. Start to walk your way forward and come all the way up into a standing position. We'll work on a different transition here. Come into a lunge with one leg forward. We're going to call this a handstand hop, so the whole purpose is just to switch from one leg lunge to the other. You'll take your hands down to the floor, kick up like you're going to do a handstand, but land with the opposite leg down in a lunge. It doesn't matter what it looks like, we're just trying to switch legs. So it might look more like a step, it might look totally different every time you try it, but just see how it goes. And meet your body with wherever it is right now. And we'll meet back together in a downward facing dog for 2 deep breaths. And then you can walk, step, or hop your feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lower your hips, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, right foot up. Exhale, step back. Inhale to your turbo lunge. Exhale, straight body. Inhale, turbo. Exhale. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hinge forward. You can take another inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bow down. Inhale. Exhale to the long edge of your mat. You can sway around. Maybe you'd rather even try a headstand or something else here. And inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen and pivot on your feet. Come down into your goddess pose. Inhale, arms and chest come up. Exhale, settle in. Find your breath. Squeezing glutes to pull knees apart from each other. Start to pivot on your feet. Come down into your low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, hips back and fold. Inhale, bring your hands forward and handstand hop to the other side, high lunge. Find your breath, find your balance. And inhale, we'll lower your back knee to hover. Exhale, straight body. Inhale, lower your back knee. Exhale, lengthen. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hinge forward. You can inhale, lengthen, and exhale, bow. Moving with your own breath. One more inhale, pulling your heart forward. Exhale, walk to the long edge of your mat. Maybe you'd like to sway around. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pivot, lower your hips, find your goddess pose. Breathing deeply. Open through the front of your chest and shoulders. For one last inhale, and exhale, pivot to your low lunge. Hold it for the inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come forward, handstand hop to the other side lunge. Inhale, turbo. Exhale, straight body. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hinge forward and bow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to the center of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lower your hips, toes point out. Inhale to your goddess, hold it for the exhale. And one more deep inhale. Exhale, pivot forward, low lunge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hips back and fold. Inhale, come forward, handstand hop. Inhale, high lunge. Turbo. Exhale, straight body. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pivot to the long edge of your mat and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, heels come in, toes point out, goddess pose. Find your breath. Open through the front of your body. One more inhale. Exhale, pivot to low lunge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, come forward, handstand hop. Last time on each side. Inhale, turbo lunge. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, reach your heart forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, walk to the long edge of your mat and fold. Inhale, reach forward with your chest and exhale to your goddess. Inhale. Pivot. You'll inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hips back and fold. Inhale, reach forward, last handstand hop. Inhale, turbo lunge. Exhale, hinge. Inhale up to standing. Exhale, pull forward and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, walk to the long edge of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, heels come in, find your goddess. Deep breathing. And pivot to your low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come forward. Last handstand hop for real. And come all the way up to standing. Big inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And take your feet to about shoulder distance apart. Toes pointed out. Lower your hips all the way down into Malasana, a nice deep squat. Pressing down through your heels if you can. If they want to pop up, it's okay. You can totally sit on a block here. Either way, maybe you're moving around a little. You can shift side to side, sway, twist, lifting up through your chest, rolling your shoulders back and down. Open through your heart space. Breathing deeply. Start to spread your toes. Grounding down. You can lift your hips about an inch or two higher. Squeeze your glutes to pull your knees apart from each other. Find your breath. And on an inhale, come all the way up to standing. You can heel toe your feet together and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back. You can move through a vinyasa if you'd like to. Downward facing dog if you'd rather skip it. When you get to your downward facing dog, take a deep inhale through your nose and sigh out of your mouth. And then you can lower into a seated position. Bring the soles of your feet together, a little ways out in front of you, making a squarish kind of shape with your legs. Take glutes out from underneath sit bones to find the forward tilt of your pelvis. You can inhale, pull your chest forward, hinging at your hips. Maybe you walk side to side a little. Maybe you twist, feeling into the differences in each hamstring, each hip and glute. If you'd like, you can also round your spine and let your head hang down for this one. You could take your hands underneath your calves, wrap them around to your shins or the tops of your feet, and let yourself melt down into wherever your body wants to go here. Take one last deep breath, rounding forward. And you can reposition your hands if you'd like. We're going to move with the breath a bit. On your inhales, push your feet together and forward like you're trying to straighten your knees. And then exhale, relax your legs to drop back forward. So you inhale, push forward, and exhale, release. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, release. Moving with your own breath. And then you can rest back down passively, sinking into this posture for another breath or two. And then make your way up. Bring your knees back together. Stretch them straight out in front of you. Bend your knees to pull the tops of your hips forward. Inhale, reach your arms and chest as far forward as they can go, and then exhale, release down into your forward fold. You can move around in this posture too. If you'd like to move with your breath, you can inhale, lengthen through your chest, and exhale, release down to fold. Inhale, pulls your heart forward, rib cage forward, and exhale, release. If your hands can comfortably rest on your feet, use your thumbs to push your big toe knuckles forward and the rest of your fingers to pull the pinky edge of your foot back towards you so that you're holding your feet like a book. Start to make your way onto your back. You can take your blocks with you, keep them close by. Come all the way down with your knees bent, feet toward the outer edges of your mat, and sway your knees from side to side like windshield wipers. Come back to center, hug your knees in towards your chest for a moment, and then grab onto your blocks. Take a block underneath your tailbone. If you have a really small block, you could use two, but either way, take a block underneath your tailbone, your sacrum, so pretty low underneath your booty. Extend your feet forward and let your toes fall open to each side. You can rest your hands on your hips or out to your sides. Get comfortable. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. Releasing through the front sides of your hips, quads, and low belly. For one more breath. And you can take the bottoms of your feet to the floor and bring your knees in towards your chest. You can scoot your shoulders up your mat so that you end up hanging off the edge of your block. You can hug your knees in with your hands, or if your legs can rest there on their own, you could take your arms out to your sides or up overhead, like an upside down child's pose. And moving with your breath, you're going to inhale, take your left heel towards your left shoulder, toes pointed down, and then exhale your heel back towards your hips. Inhale your right leg towards right shoulder, exhale, release. Inhale, extend left leg, toes point down, release. Inhale, extend, flexing through your heel, and then exhale back to neutral. Keep moving with your own breath. Legs are wide apart, feet are wide apart. If you were to have both feet extended at the same time, you would be like an upside down, wide-legged forward fold. But we're going one leg at a time. Let's go one more time on each side. And then come into your neutral resting position, maybe arms up overhead, maybe hugging onto your knees so that your lower body can relax. You can use your hands to bring your knees back together and feet down to the floor. Take blocks out from underneath you. And if you need to find any twisting or shifting to neutralize, then feel free to move around and make your way into some resting position. Maybe the soles of your feet together, knees out to each side. Maybe you'd rather rest with your knees together, feet separated. Take some deep, clearing breaths, some sighs out of your mouth. And begin to make your way into the most comfortable resting position for your body. Come into your Shavasana. Reach your feet forward, let toes fall open. Maybe hand resting on your heart space. Arms can be wherever they'd like. Make all the little changes to your posture, your clothes. Get rid of any distractions. Not holding yourself up in any way. The full weight of your body supported by the ground. Relax your forehead and your bottom jaw. Soft around your chest and shoulders, inner thighs, hands and feet. Observing the state of your physical and internal self. Start to breathe in a little bit more deeply. Breathe some movement into your fingers and your toes. You could reach your arms up overhead, come into a full body stretch. Maybe you'd like to find some gentle twists. You could hug your knees in towards your chest. Tell yourself a big thank you for making time for your practice today. Thank you to your body for everything that it does for you. And take a few moments to maybe roll to one side, or however you'd like to gently make your way up into a seated position. Move slowly, noticing how you feel. Sit up tall. And inhale, reach your arms up overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead again. Exhale, hands to your heart. Tuck your chin, close your eyes. Thank you so much for practicing with me. Namaste.